Thank you. You know, Dean Schneller of College of Science and Math, I've heard him speak a few times, and he uses the metaphor standing on the shoulders of giants. And that's the way I feel tonight. I was introduced to Dr. Mattingly before the dinner began, and I said, you know, I know your name from somewhere. Are you a professor at Auburn? And he just kind of laughed and didn't say much, and then he spoke up here, you know. So I definitely am humbled to be speaking tonight in such an audience and among such wonderful alumni. For me, my Auburn experience began my junior year of high school. I was looking at vet programs through the country, and my grandparents out of Montgomery mentioned Auburn. So I flew down from Richmond, Virginia, and I was down 3 days. And you know what I remember most is the first night my grandma makes these big T-bone steaks, this big. Second night it was baby back ribs, the size of this podium. And the third night it was lobster. And so at that point I said, Grandma, Grandpa, I'm going to Auburn. Of course I saw the campus too at some point, and I fell in love with Auburn the moment I set foot on campus. And even when I got here, my freshman year was beyond what I could imagine in terms of spirit, in terms of camaraderie, in terms of the other people I was around. But even despite that, I almost left Auburn after my freshman year for West Point. I'd already changed my major a few times, and I felt a real pull for military service. I was in the reserves, but I felt like I could do more, and I was capable of more, and it was a really tough decision. And one of the reasons I stayed was because I was put on half scholarship. I was out of state, so half scholarship was pretty significant. And that wasn't money. It wasn't the money issue. We always had money for college. But when I came to Auburn, it was me saying, I believe in Auburn. And when I received that scholarship, it was Auburn saying, we believe in you, and we want you to stay. We've already noticed you, even if you've only been here a couple semesters. So I stayed. And one of the consequences of me staying was I stayed in the reserves and I was activated in February 2003. And I was sent to Iraq, and I worked in a supply yard for a few months. And what would happen, we didn't get directly attacked very often because we had bigger guns. But we got indirectly attacked. They'd shoot mortars and rockets and they'd run. And so we'd be out there counting screws and explosions and sirens. And we'd run to the bunker. What happened in the bunker was a lot of other soldiers were taking online classes and taking correspondence courses because they wanted to come back home to something better than they left. So that became a great opportunity for me to tutor them. So whenever we get hit with mortars, everybody would run to their tents and pick up all their school books and then run to the bunker, like an opposite recess. They're running to school. And mortar time tutoring was born. And I got teamed up with a few other soldiers out of Los Angeles, and we developed a more official, it was still unofficial, but more official, more consistent education program. And we tutored soldiers for SATs, we helped with online classes, we helped one soldier get a GED because he was grandfathered in from the Vietnam era. And that's how I spent my war. And when I came home, I was faced with another decision. My mother had beaten breast cancer a few years before, but obviously my brothers and I were still concerned. And I thought a lot about transferring back to Virginia, to UVA or Virginia Tech. But the more I thought about going home, the more I realized that I was at home. In the fullest meaning of the word, I was at home. The support and the concern, the love that was shown to me when I was in Iraq was humbling. I was just doing what I said I would on the dotted line. And when I got back, Linnell Lindsay, one of the secretaries in College of Science and Math, walked me through the offices proclaiming that I was home. And everybody came out and was hugging me, and I didn't know anybody's names, but I realized that they knew who I was already. And then on top of that, I was put on full scholarship. So once again, I was about to leave, or thinking about leaving, and right when I was thinking about leaving, Auburn showed me that this is where I was wanted. And I stayed, and I finally graduated last December, summa cum laude in applied math. And I've postponed my medical plans in order to follow my heart into the special forces. And I'm going to be trained as a combat medic. And when I tell that to a lot of people, I get a lot of questions, a lot of things like, oh, so I guess you agree with the war. or oh, I guess you don't have any convictions of your own, you're just going to do whatever the current administration. It's not always that negative, but it's things like that I get a lot. And my answer is always, war's been around a lot longer than our current administration has. War's been around a lot longer than our country has. And I go to war not to defend our current administration. I go to war because it's going to happen anyway. I know firsthand how horrible it can be, and it is, and I want to be right in the middle of it, somehow lessening impact for the people around that shouldn't be affected by it, shouldn't be affected by other people's decisions. So I'm stepping in there because I know I can do my job more efficiently and with more compassion than anybody else. I was not this type of person. I was not this man before I came to Auburn, and I am this kind of man now, and I'm not the only one. This is the type of person, and this is the type of heart that Auburn produces, and I thank God that He kept me here. Thank you. Great.